On the night of April 14, 1912, the RMS Titanic sailed through the frigid waters of the North Atlantic. With over 2,200 souls on board, it was the maiden voyage of what was thought to be the most advanced and luxurious ship ever built, an unsinkable marvel of modern engineering. Amidst the ship's grandeur and the hum of social activity, a tiny room held the power to alter the course of history. It was the wireless room, where operators Jack Phillips and Harold Bride worked tirelessly, sending and receiving messages through the revolutionary Marconi telegraph system. The Titanic's wireless operators were swamped. The system, a marvel in its own right, allowed passengers to send personal telegrams to loved ones on shore. The operators worked through a backlog of messages, prioritizing the needs of first-class passengers as was expected of them. But this night, the influx of messages was more than just personal communications. Warnings had been coming in throughout the day. Telegrams from other ships in the vicinity, reporting sightings of icebergs in the water. Each message carried with it a note of caution, yet each was met with the same response. A log in the ship's records. And then, back to the task at hand, serving the passengers. At 11:07 p.m., a critical message arrived from the SS Californian, a ship not far from the Titanic's location. "We are stopped and surrounded by ice," the Californian reported. This was not the first warning, but it was the most explicit. The Californian's operator, Cyril Evans, knew the danger the Titanic was sailing into. He sent the message with urgency, hoping it would prompt the grand vessel to slow its pace. However, the message reached the Titanic's wireless room at a moment of intense activity. Jack Phillips, overwhelmed and exhausted, responded to the Californian with frustration. Shut up, I'm working Cape Race," he typed back. He didn't realize, in his fatigue and stress, that this was the telegram that could have saved the Titanic. The message from the Californian, one of the last ice warnings, was logged and set aside. It was never brought to the bridge. At the time, Captain Edward Smith and his officers were navigating the Titanic through calm, moonless waters. The sea was unusually still, an eerie calm that masked the presence of icebergs ahead. Earlier that evening, Captain Smith had been made aware of ice in the area, but with the Titanic moving at nearly full speed, he believed the ship could outrun any threat. After all, the Titanic was unsinkable. The officers on duty shared his confidence, unaware of the deadly obstacle in their path. At 11:40 p.m., just 33 minutes after the Californian's warning was dismissed, the Titanic struck an iceberg. The ship's starboard side scraped against the massive ice, tearing open multiple watertight compartments below the waterline. The damage was catastrophic. In the minutes that followed, chaos erupted on board. As the ship's fate became clear, distress signals were sent out, ironically through the same Marconi system that had received the Californian's warning. But now it was too late. The iceberg had already sealed the Titanic's doom. The SS Californian, just a few miles away, could have come to the Titanic's aid. Its crew, too, had noticed the flares fired from the sinking ship, but without the wireless operating, they misunderstood their significance. Cyril Evans, who had sent the crucial ice warning, had shut down his telegraph for the night, retiring to bed, unaware that the very message he sent had been brushed aside. In the hours that followed, more than 1,500 people lost their lives as the Titanic sank into the icy depths of the Atlantic. Among them were the men, women and children who had placed their trust in the invincibility of modern technology, never knowing how close they had come to safety. The tragedy of the Titanic is remembered for its immense loss of life, the heroism of many aboard, and the lessons learned in maritime safety. Yet within that tragedy lies the quieter, lesser-known story of the telegram that could have saved them all. A message sent with good intentions, but lost in the noise of human error. In the end, It was not the iceberg alone that sank the Titanic, but the misplaced confidence and missed warnings that went unheeded in the final fateful hours. The telegram that could have saved the Titanic reminds us that even the smallest messages can carry the greatest weight. And so, as we reflect on that night, let us remember that history is often shaped not by what is done, but by what is left undone, by the warnings that go unheard and the messages that go unanswered.